This week on the Fan Club podcast.
Unbreakable vow. That would be like the wizard pinky promise. I think he said something along the lines of, I tried to destroy the ring, but it backfired and destroyed my hand instead, or something like that.
And, Harry got no game. Lecter from Guardians of the Galaxy is henceforth a Slytherin. It's sold on the black market.
Sold on the black market?
They basically turned it into a rom-com.
But he put Harry in, one of the longer suitcases to hide him.
Sports ball. Go team. I've never done the math on this. That is the wildest thing I've ever heard. Hey guys, welcome back to the Fan Club podcast. This is Sarah.
This is Matthew.
And if you can hear our AC in the background, no you don't. Because it was 90 degrees today and our house is very, very warm.
Yes.
So you're going to have to deal with the AC in the background.
For the rest of the summer.
We live in Texas. Well, this is our Half-Blood Prince episode.
Yeah, our 50-something episode.
55.
It's actually 56.
So today we will be covering Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which I really like this movie. If I pretend the book does not exist.
I like this version in the Lego Harry Potter game.
I do as well.
Because for the half price...
You always call it half-price Prince.
The Half-Blood Prince, it's just a prince's crown with a blood drop half filled.
So before we start kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of everything, make sure you go enter our giveaway.
Yes, we only have a few people so far and we want more.
Just go enter our giveaway. It ends on the 22nd, so just get your entries in. So yeah, go enter our giveaway. You will win a full set of Matthew's Spice Blends, as well as a free piece of merch and a couple of surprises. And it's just as a thank you, our I believe our 1-year anniversary of this podcast will be next week. We will be having a special guest on that episode, so stay tuned. And yeah, do you have anything else to say before we get into it? So Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, released in 2009 and directed by David Yates.
When did David Yates start directing them?
5.
Okay.
He directed the last 4.
So
it's crazy to me how these movies are arguably the darkest, and David Yates is so soft-spoken in interviews. He almost whispers.
So I have a question. Why do we blame who's the actor of Voldemort or Dumbledore?
Michael Gaiman?
Michael Gaiman. Why do we blame him for the whole, Harry, did you put the name in the Goblet of Fire thing? Wouldn't that have been the director telling him to yell it?
My money is probably on Steve Kloves, who was the screenwriter. Just because he also was responsible for a lot of mischaracterizations of Ron and Hermione as well. And it's just, I think it's stage direction and writing.
Okay.
And same thing with Ginny as well. So the movie starts off with the Death Eaters breaking into... They fly through the city, break the bridge, and fly into Diagon Alley. We see Ollivander getting taken away.
So, when they break the bridge, how would it be explained to the Muggles? The bridge just fell apart?
Well, the funny thing about that is that bridge is the Millennium Bridge, which was constructed, it was brand new when this movie was made.
Yeah.
In the book, it's not the Millennium Bridge, because the Millennium Bridge does not exist yet. So I believe the Muggles, so in the book, it starts off with Fudge going to the Muggle Prime Minister. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure when he talks to the Muggle Prime Minister about all of these things, the Muggle Prime Minister thinks that it's a freak windstorm, or tornadoes or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe a hurricane. Might be a hurricane.
Maybe.
Because the UK is an island, so I feel are hurricanes common there?
No, I don't think I've ever heard of a hurricane hitting there.
I'm not sure. It might just be a freak windstorm.
Maybe.
Or something like that. And so I do really wish that we got this. I can understand maybe why they didn't, because it's not that cinematic. Yeah. But I really like this opening. I think I like 4's opening just a hair more.
Yeah.
Just because I like the openings that are not Harry's perspective.
Yeah.
Because we see the entire series through Harry's eyes, and I like when we get chapters that are not
Harry-based.
Yeah.
Harry-centric.
I think it's really fascinating. Like,
and it's like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, it is, a little bit. And it, like, 7 opens, like, with the Death Eater meeting.
Yes.
So, I kind of wish that, but I can, this opening, the movie opening, is a lot more interesting to look at.
Yeah.
And so, after the attack...
Because we don't see the Dursleys at all in this one, right?
No, I don't believe so. In the book, there's a whole thing where Dumbledore comes to the Dursleys' house and basically is like talking to them about how Harry needs to like stay with them until he turns of age. And one of my favorite lines of the entire book series is Harry, let us step out into the night and observe this flighty temptress adventure.
Yeah.
I love that line. So then we have the scene between Snape, Narcissa, and Bellatrix about the unbreakable vow.
Yeah.
And we meet Narcissa in this scene, even though in the book she was introduced a lot earlier.
Unbreakable vow. That would be like the wizard pinky promise.
Something like deadly.
If you break a pinky promise, you lose your pinky.
Is that the rule?
I don't know. I think I remember that from like elementary school. Because that's why it was a pinky promise. Because you're promising your pinky.
I don't remember that being the rule. I think this scene is like extremely crucial to Snape's characterization.
Because he's just trying to protect people.
I do, however, miss a little bit of like, because this is supposed to happen within Snape's hometown. They're in Spinner's End.
Yeah.
And it's described as being this like really destitute like factory town.
Yeah.
And we learn a little bit about Snape's backstory.
Because I thought it happened at like Bellatrix's house.
No, it's Snape's house. And like Wormtail is being Snape's servant. Like getting them drinks and stuff. And this is where I think a lot of people thought that Snape was full evil.
Yeah.
Like full bad guy.
Yeah. But he had to put up a front.
Yeah, well, and he's protecting Draco. It's not...
Because he knows Draco can't do it.
But it's also he had already formulated the plan with Dumbledore.
Yeah, that Draco was going to have to kill him.
Well, I think...
Foils.
I think everybody knows that. But Dumbledore had already tried to destroy the ring already. And so his...
dying.
Yeah.
So, okay. My whole question is, Dumbledore knew that Harry used the Sword of Griff or Basilisk Fang to kill the first Horcrux.
He had a theory that the sword was...
So why didn't he just use the sword?
He did.
But then how did it harm him?
I think it was that he was wearing it until he kind of had that hunch.
No, I thought he said he tried to destroy it another way before he was actually able to, and it destroyed his hand. Because
Maybe he like tried to curse it or something.
I think he said something along the lines of, I tried to destroy the ring, but it backfired. And destroyed my hand instead, or something like that.
I'm not sure.
I think it's something like that.
It's not... I don't remember it being that clear, if I'm being completely honest with you.
When you destroy a Horcrux, it doesn't come back and attack you. Like that.
Unless it's a similar thing to the locket, where, like, it was being worn and, like, kind of leached into his skin a little bit.
But he wasn't permanently disfigured. It was just tainting his soul. But also, the ring was a lot stronger Horcrux. So, okay, my theory goes, which I will explain more.
Well, this is the movie we get introduced to Horcruxes, so I think you can talk about it.
Yes. So, my theory is the stronger or the more of the Voldemort soul in the item, the stronger the horcrux is. So
The earlier they were created.
So like the book.
It was the first one.
Yes, so he could recreate himself as a visual persona as a memory. And then the ring was second. So that does make sense how it was able to destroy Voldemort's or Dumbledore's hand. And then the locket was, what, third? More than likely?
The locket and the cup were kind of... I think
the diadem were all around the same time.
I think the diadem was a lot later.
I thought
because I think that the cup and the locket were either right before he left Hogwarts or right after, and the diadem was a few years later.
No, maybe. So okay, my other complaint is with the ring. How could he? Because the ring has the resurrection stone in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So. How was Voldemort able to make it a horcrux if it's one of the most powerful magical items in existence?
I have another theory. Maybe because the resurrection stone was used as the stone for the ring, that Dumbledore was trying to like take it apart so he could use the resurrection stone, and that's why it messed up his hand.
Maybe.
I never thought about that before, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we know, a different point but similar point. The Tale of the Three Brothers. We'll talk more about them in the next book, or in the next 2 podcasts. But, so we know Harry's related to the youngest sibling.
Yeah.
So Voldemort is related to the middle sibling.
I know their names, I don't know which one's which. I know the oldest one's Antioch, but I can't remember which one is...
Percival and...
It's Peverell.
No,
it's Antioch. It's Antioch, Cadmus, and Ignatius.
Ignatius is the oldest one.
I think Antioch is the oldest one. I think Ignatius is the youngest. If I'm not mistaken. Craziness and the madness of Bellatrix. I think she is perfect. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think she's perfectly cast. I don't think I don't know. I think that they only say it once that Narcissa and Bellatrix are siblings. Like, Snape literally says, like, your sister doubts me. And that's it.
But
we never hear about Andromeda.
No, because Andromeda got exiled.
But she's Tonks' mom.
True.
Like, we never hear about Andromeda in the movie. And she kind of plays a big part in well, not a huge part, but a bit in the first part of Deathly Hallows.
Yeah.
And I think this is really the only time we ever hear about the Black sisters. But Narcissa is kind of like an ever-present figure in, like, when at the beginning of the books and stuff. She's not... This is the first time we've ever seen her in the movie.
Which one?
Narcissa.
Yeah.
And she was played flawlessly by Helen McCrory, who... rest in peace.
So...
She died of breast cancer a couple years ago. It's really sad. So then we go to a random train station where Harry is trying to pick up this girl that works in a diner, which is a very weird touch.
Yeah.
And, like, Harry got no game. Like, he's so painfully awkward. And then he just stands this poor girl up. Basically thinks he hallucinates Dumbledore being there for a hot second.
But he doesn't.
He's standing in front of a billboard that says, "Make a little magic tonight."
Yeah, and Dumbledore just shows up next to him.
Which, I don't know.
He's like, let's go, Harry.
I think that it's kind of funny, and I think this movie is the first time we see Michael Gambon Dumbledore being, like, twinkly.
I wouldn't say twinkly.
He's
maybe
more
in the first part.
He's
but
more
not
like,
in the second or third.
I agree with you on that.
Not in the second or third act.
He's, in this first couple of scenes, he's very, like, floaty and, like...
He's like the drunk uncle.
He's much more in the vein of, like, the 3 turns to do it, good luck.
Yeah, he's like the drunk uncle.
Drunk is not the way I would
No,
phrase it.
but you know what I mean, like the fun uncle.
So they go to the charming village of Budley Babberton.
Yeah.
And they try to...
Why'd you say it like that?
Because it's what Dumbledore says in the movie. And they try to...
talk about my other theory with Hermione.
Okay, eventually.
Later.
And they try to recruit Slughorn.
Yeah.
And Slughorn is disguised as an armchair.
So can you transfigure it yourself?
I don't think it was... Because it's not like his animagus is an armchair. He was just, like, trying to hide.
No, he transfigured himself.
That's, like, the perfect hide-and-go-seek.
Can your animagus be an inanimate object? Or does it have to be an animal?
My question is, how and why did he teach himself this?
To hide because he's a coward?
And we learned that
Am I wrong?
Professor Slughorn is a people collector.
Yes.
He really is the ultimate Slytherin. He's all about ambition. I was more thinking of the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's collecting, like, the captain of the Holyhead Harpies. He collected, there's this line where he says, he's talking about Regulus and how, he taught the whole Black family except for Sirius, and he says, I like the set. He doesn't say it like he values... Sirius was really smart. I would have liked to have taught him. It's that I would have liked the set. Like, he's a completionist.
So, what house did we put the collector in? Do you remember? Did we put him in Slytherin?
I don't remember.
No, we did all 4. We did all 4 for him.
I don't know, but he does give off, like, very Slytherin energy.
But he also gives off Ravenclaw because it's a museum to preserve history.
Okay, whatever we sorted him in, the collector from Guardians of the Galaxy is henceforth a Slytherin.
I still say all 4. I say all 4.
And Miss Minutes is only Slytherin.
No. No. Miss Minute.
Are you ready to get that tattoo?
Kate, if you're listening to this, I hope you're ready for the tattoo when Loki Season 2 comes out. And you will be the one getting the tattoo. Did we ever decide where I was going to get it if I lost?
I don't think we ever talked about it. I think it's dealer's choice.
Yeah, because I know I'm not going to lose. Because she is a inanimate AI. She's programmed to be a certain way.
Okay. That line is so telling of Slytherin, or of Slughorn.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And this is the first mention we get of Regulus.
I thought we saw something in Regulus before.
Well, at the end, we get the RAB thing. But
No.
we don't learn who RAB is until 7.
No, I thought we got something in 5 of RAB.
No.
No, we just saw Regulus on the wall.
Yeah, and then we see the locket, but
Yeah.
the locket
Which...
was
A
sold.
forged.
It was sold. No, the one that they find in the house in book 5 is sold on the black market.
It was sold on the black market?
I was clever.
No, the one in the water is a forge. It's a forgery. It's a fake.
The one in, like, the cave?
Yeah.
That's a fake. The one in the house in book 5 is the real one.
So...
Because Mundungus sells it on the black market.
Yes, I know.
Because he raids the house.
So... I have a question about that. So Voldemort placed all those Inferi around there.
Don't even get me started on Inferi. I will talk about it when we get there.
So-
They creep me the heck out.
So... Voldemort knew someone was going to go after the Horcruxes a long time ago when he put it there.
It's like a safekeeping. It's like a just in case.
But why did you have to drink the water? Can't you just pour it out?
Because Voldemort is a glutton for chaos.
Couldn't you just grab it?
He's a harbinger of chaos.
Couldn't you just grab it?
No.
What was stopping you from grabbing it?
It was... Harry tried. I do love this line where Dumbledore comes out and he comes out of the bathroom. He's like, I do love knitting patterns. And fun fact, the knitting pattern book that he holds up has you-know-who on it. She who must not be named. And so then after we get back from Budley Babberton, we go to the burrow, and Dumbledore just, like, drops Harry off in a lake. Or a pond.
Like, bye. Dude.
And then we go to the burrow, and I do really like this little, like...
Isn't it after 4 Hermione lives with Ron? Like,
she doesn't live there. She's just always freaking there. Her and Ginny are besties, though.
Yeah, so I think I read somewhere, like, after the events of 4, she's, like, home only, like, 3 weeks in total.
Okay, don't even get me started here. I don't understand how her parents are just, like, so chill with, like, never seeing their daughter. Because it's not like they could FaceTime.
So, or she did a memory charm to make them forget her. So
not yet.
So that they didn't know that she wasn't there. Because she was at Hogwarts, so she could have placed a fake memory in their brain saying that Hogwarts is a year-round school.
I don't think she would do that.
She made her parents forget who she was. Do you really think...
I don't think she would just do that so she could hang out with her friends.
She also...
Her parents are probably just real chill.
She also...
I also think...
tortured Rita Skeeter for a year.
Her parents are also dentists, so they're probably very busy.
She tortured Rita Skeeter for a year. She cursed the parchment for the Order of the Phoenix.
DA.
The DA. She does all of these things.
She permanently disfigured a teenage girl.
Yes. So, would you not put it past her to plant fake memories in her parents so that they wouldn't worry?
I do like this little interaction where Harry comes into the house and everybody's like, Harry, I know if Harry Potter's in my house. And they're all, like, peering over the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think it's sweet. This is where I'll talk about one of the points that somebody brought up that comes into play later. Harry and Ginny, zero chemistry.
We talk about that in every episode. Dear.
We talked about it with Cho and Harry last time.
No, we talked about it with Ginny and Harry and how he has zero love connection with anyone. He had more of a love connection with the chick in the diner than he does with Ginny.
That is true. I think it's a Ginny problem.
Or it's just a writing problem.
Yeah, I have more of an issue with Ginny later. Because it's just so painfully cringe and awkward.
Or it was just Bonnie Wright and Daniel Radcliffe just didn't have chemistry.
Well, he saw her as a little sister.
Yeah.
So I think that had a big part of it.
Yeah.
There's this really sweet scene where the trio are laughing about, like, what is he, 150? Like, talking about Dumbledore. And I like this little scene transition where they have this, like, ball of newspaper, like, on fire, like, spinning. And the camera, like, turns into, like, a moving picture of Draco Malfoy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the scene transition to, like, going into seeing, like, Diagon Alley and Nocturne Alley.
And going in Burgess and Borgs and...
Borgin and Burks.
Bergen and Burks. And getting one half of the cabinet.
So everything in Diagon Alley is, like, destitute.
Yeah.
There's, like, everything is empty with an exception of Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. And Harry, Ron, and Hermione follow Draco and Narcissa into Borgin and Burks. And they almost get caught by Fenrir.
So, I have a question about the cabinets.
Yeah.
The one in Burgess and Burgs, is that the one that Draco moved into Hogwarts?
No, there was one in the room requirement.
The sister pair to that cabinet has been missing all this time, essentially.
They just didn't know what it was. Because, so I think it's 2, there's a scene in the book, where Harry is coming back from Quidditch, and he's, like, tracking mud through the castle, and he thinks that he's gonna get caught by Filch, and so Peeves is like, oh, I'll go distract him, and, like, smashes a cabinet. And so he's the one that breaks the vanishing cabinet.
So, and then the room of requirements rebuilt it.
No, it's broken still. It's, like, stuck in the room of hidden things because it's broken.
Yeah.
And Draco fixes it.
Yeah, by sending, like, apples or birds back and forth.
I'm not entirely sure how he fixed it, if I'm being completely
Because
honest.
Malfoy's not that smart.
Unless Snape figured out how to fix it.
I doubt it. The room requirements is such of a weird room. Like, I understand it. But,
Well,
like, in 7, it shows it as being, like, multiple rooms on top of each other.
Well, that's
all
the
at
room
once.
of hidden things.
But there's one entrance to the room of requirements. There's only
The one where the kids are camping out?
Yes. There's only one room.
Yeah.
But it changes itself for the person.
Well, there's a moment during the battle where everybody's kind of convening in the room requirement, and Harry's like, I need everybody out because I need to look in. I need the room to change for me. But it won't change if somebody's in there. Then this is when we get the scene in Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. The movie never specifies this, but in the book, Harry gives Fred and George his Triwizard winnings.
I've seen this movie maybe twice ever.
Really?
Yes. It's one of my, not my least favorites.
The crazy thing about this movie is, like, that this is one of the darkest movies in the entire series, or darkest books in the entire series.
Yeah.
And they basically turned it into a rom-com.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. But, so then we go to Fred and George's, and this is when we meet Lavender Brown and Cormac McLaggen, which Lavender Brown has kind of, in the books, has kind of always been around.
She's a nuisance.
I sympathize with Lavender.
She's a nuisance.
I just think she's deeply insecure. And I don't think she's that dissimilar to most teenage girls with their first boyfriends.
Yeah.
So I sympathize with her a lot. And I think, does she act crazy? Yeah.
Does she drug Ron with a love potion?
No, that's
Absolutely.
Romilda Vane. And Cormac McLaggen, fun fact, is Freddie Stroma, who he's like the hot guy in like everything. Pitch Perfect, he's in Bridgerton. He's every hot guy ever. Draco is like talking to his cronies about how his mom wanted him to go to Durmstrang, but it was like too far away.
Or I thought his dad wanted him to go to Durmstrang, and the mom said no.
Yeah, that's what I meant. We meet Blaise Zabini, who is Crabbe's replacement, because Crabbe went to jail.
Yeah.
And I actually think Blaise Zabini is a really interesting character. His mom is reportedly a Black Widow. She's, like, beautiful, but, like, she's had, like, tons of husbands. They've all died suspiciously. Harry then uses the Peruvian Insta-Darkness powder that he got from Fred and George. He makes a diversion, and so he puts on the invisibility cloak and like is up on the top rack, and Draco sees the suitcase move, and so he knows that Harry's up there, and Petrificus Totalis is him.
Yeah, and puts him in a suitcase.
He didn't put him in the suitcase.
I thought he put him in a suitcase.
He didn't murder Harry.
No, I thought he put Harry in like one of the longer suitcases to hide him.
No.
That would have been funnier.
I think you're thinking of a crime show.
No, I'm thinking of a TikTok.
And then Draco basically, like, curb stomps Harry. And that's for my father, because at the end of book 5, Lucius gets arrested. Voldemort's none too pleased with him either. He, like, fumbled the bag.
I mean...
Fumbled the ball, fumbled the bag.
Fumbled the wizard.
I fumbled the wand?
Yeah, let's just say that. Fumbled the wand. Whenever someone makes a mistake, going forward in the wizarding world, it's called fumble the wand.
I don't know sports analogies. Isn't that an expression? Fumbled the ball?
I don't know sports.
Sports ball. Go team.
We're watching Ted Lasso right now, which is funny.
I could care less about soccer or football, but that show is hilarious. Who comes in but Luna Lovegood with her Spectre specs, but in the book it's Tonks. I'm not entirely sure why. Honestly, no, this was pre-Game of Thrones. I was going to say, maybe because Natalie Tena is Osha in Game of Thrones, but this is pre-Game of Thrones.
When did this movie come out?
2009.
Yeah, Game of Thrones started in, 2012?
11, I think. She finds him and basically reverses the spell, and I like the little interaction that they have. It's like, well, I am your friend, Luna. And she, like, fixes his nose. Even though he's still, like, gushing blood from his nose. And Ginny's like, why is he always covered in blood?
Because he's Harry freaking Potter. They can't have one normal year. Hey, at least their owls are usually canceled by the end of the year because Harry
Owls are like their,
No, that's what I'm saying.
Owls are like their 5th year exams.
Like, their finals or whatever.
Yeah.
Are usually canceled. Because Harry messes something up and kills a teacher. Or maims. Or kills. Or, yeah. He kills, maims, makes them forget, makes them run away in fear.
That was Gilderoy's. And Lupin's wasn't directly Harry's fault. It's more people being prejudiced.
I mean...
Lupin was the best teacher they had.
I mean...
And despite him being a Death Eater, Fake Moody was not that bad.
Yeah. But he maimed Fake Moody. Or he injured Fake Moody. He
learned a lot from Fake Moody.
He sent Umbridge to her death.
I'm not gonna say it. You look it up on your own time. But she got carried off by centaurs.
Yeah. She sent her off to be tortured and maimed and killed. But she doesn't get killed.
She doesn't get killed. I remember that being a huge plot twist when she comes back in 7.
Yeah, like...
Because people thought she literally died.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess in the book, she's in the hospital wing at the end. So I guess people didn't think she died.
But, like...
Maybe, like, people thought she succumbed to her injuries or something.
Actually, doesn't Snape break the curse?
I think so. So, in this scene, Dumbledore is, like, talking about how there's a boy who made all the wrong choices, and his name is Tom Riddle. And... which further cements the whole, like, it is not our abilities, it's our choices. And...
which brings up the whole philosophical argument, nature or nurture.
And this kind of, like, sets in motion the whole Dumbledore-Harry plot of this entire movie.
So, when people say Voldemort, they say he should not be named because they say he can hear you when you say his name. Is there, like, any truth to that?
His name is not made a taboo until 7. So...
But I thought... No, his name was always taboo.
It was just, like, a social taboo. It was just, like, people just don't say it. It's, like, a swear word in their world.
But he was defeated.
It wasn't even about that. It was just, like, this is just... You just don't. It's like talking about politics in public. You just, like, don't do it. It wasn't, like, officially taboo until 7, when that's how they rounded up the Order of the Phoenix, because the people who were afraid of Voldemort wouldn't say it. Voldemort wanted to kill the people who weren't afraid of him.
That wouldn't say Voldemort?
Or that would.
Oh.
Because they were Dumbledore supporters, typically. This is also where we learn that Slughorn is going to be the potions professor, and Snape is going to be the defense against the dark arts. And honestly, I cannot remember, but was Harry under the impression that that Slughorn would have been defense against the dark arts?
I don't know.
Did he just assume?
I'm guessing.
Was he ever informed that Slughorn was the potions professor?
He might have.
Harry's also obtuse, so...
I mean, in all honesty, no, Snape doesn't break the curse. Because Snape's not the Defense of Dark Arts the following year.
He's the headmaster.
Yeah, but he didn't break the curse. Is the curse even broken? Because how can you curse a position?
I'm not entirely sure how that really even works.
Because I know Voldemort cursed the Defense of Dark Arts position to have them get a new teacher every year.
It was just like a middle finger to
No, but after
Dumbledore.
He said no, the Defense Dark Arts teacher, like, either got killed, maimed, or left after a year.
Here's the thing. We don't really ever learn exactly when that was.
Because... Wasn't it 70s?
Because...
Wasn't it, like, before...
I don't know, because like, Quirrell only came on, like, he went on sabbatical like a year before Harry, like this, like it wasn't the summer before Harry went to Hogwarts for the first time, but it was like the summer before that.
Yeah, so 2 years before.
Yeah.
You could have said 2 years before, or the year before.
Yeah.
He was on sabbatical he was out of work the year before.
Yeah. And that's when he met up with Voldemort. Like, he was on like a
Albanian trip.
He was on like a study abroad kind of thing.
Yes, in Albania.
And so, was the position cursed, like...
Pre that, yes.
Was it... So, it was pre-Lillian James.
Yes, it was before Voldemort, like, turned full evil. Because he was looking snake-like when he applied.
But he wasn't, like, full... Like, his eyes weren't red yet. He wasn't, like, full snake-like.
But his nose was slowly disappearing. His eyes were sinking in.
Harry said he looked waxy.
Yes.
That's, like, one of my favorite chapters. I love that chapter.
Yeah. So I'm guessing this had to be... If he went to school in, what?
His parents were killed in 81.
No, I'm saying Voldemort went to school in what?
40s.
40, so...
Because I think Myrtle was killed in 45.
That doesn't sound that off. Because I know he went to back to
honestly,
Hogwarts.
I've never done the math on this.
Because I think he went back to Hogwarts just to get the...
Just to, like, place the diadem?
No, to try to get all of the items.
Hogwarts relics.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've honestly never thought about this, to be honest with you.
I doubt he cared to be a teacher. He just wanted to get the diadem, the goblet.
Well, I do think that he wanted to, like, nurture young minds and, like, kind of, like, I think he wanted to, like, build up his army almost.
I think it was more to make his horcruxes.
But I don't think that was his primary purpose. I think that was, like, a, like, symptom of...
He never did a Gryffindor one. Or would Harry count?
I think he was trying to do the sword.
But he couldn't find it.
I think because he's not a worthy Gryffindor. I think that was his goal.
Because he did the goblet when he went back as a teacher.
And that was the diadem.
The diadem.
The goblet was when he like charmed Hepzibah Smith. And that was like the locket and the goblet were kind of around the same time.
Could Harry count as the Gryffindor one?
You could say that. On our merch design, I tried to include all 4 Hogwarts houses. And I made the lightning bolt red because it needed red.
Are we sure that Harry's not related to Godric Gryffindor?
I don't think so.
Some way or another?
I don't think so, because they lived in Godric's Hollow. Like, they moved there after they were kind of on the run. So who knows where James and Lily were originally from. So we go to Harry's first lesson with Slughorn. And this is when we first get the Half-Blood Prince's Potion book. Yeah. And in my personal opinion, like, Hermione accuses Harry of cheating. In my personal opinion, it's the equivalent of, like, taking a recipe and running with it. That's basically what Snape, spoiler alert, is doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not cheating to kind of alter what is effectively a recipe. Put in methods that worked better. Created a better product. I will never understand why Hermione I think it's more that Hermione feels insecure that Harry's better at something than her, and not about her actually thinking he's cheating. I think Hermione thinks that she can learn everything she could ever possibly know by reading a book. She's highly logical, but she's not very practical.
J.K. Rowling once jokingly stated that if Godric Gryffindor was still alive, he would be the giant squid that lives in the Hogwarts lake.
If Godric?
Yeah, if he was still alive. She has never said that the founders are dead.
I wish you guys could see my face right now. That is the wildest thing I've ever heard.
That would possibly make him the biggest animagus and possibly the oldest in the wizarding world. At the 11th hour of each night, the squid would change back into Gryffindor and would wander to school grounds before returning to his squid form.
This might be weirder than the before pipes were put in Hogwarts.
It should note that Rowling was sarcastically trying to make a point so obvious that the statement is not considered canon. But it could possibly be true.
I've never heard of this in my life. I don't even know how to process this information. Have you... Okay, let me know, guys, if you guys have ever heard of this Godric Gryffindor is the giant squid theory. Apparently he really likes toast. You didn't know that the giant squid liked toast?
Yes, because it's part of the Slytherin,
Side quest
in Hogwarts Legacy.
Do you know where that stems from?
No.
In one of the books, Harry and Ginny are having breakfast by the lake together. And the squid, like, steals her toast. Or, like, she feeds it toast.
The Abbott family is related to the Longbottoms.
Because, well, the Abbotts and the Longbottoms are both part of the Sacred 28.
So,
But Hannah and Neville end up married.
Okay. Well, on another note...
Slughorn basically has them brew the Draft of the Living Death, which... Do you know what the Draft of the Living Death does?
Brings dead people to life.
It's a sleeping potion. Which is weird why Slughorn says, like, I reckon one drop could kill us all. It's not a poison. It's a sleeping draft. Unless he was making a joke.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's literally a sleeping potion, because in one, I can't remember which book it is, but Harry gets hit in the head with a bludger. And Madame Pomfrey has to, like, heal his skull.
Why do people let Harry do stuff?
And she gives him Draft of the Living Death to sleep.
Yeah.
So, and it's mentioned a couple other times where, like, when Harry's having his nightmares, like, Hermione's like, go get some Draft of the Living Death.
Yeah.
So, I'm not really sure why that line is in there. It's clear that they didn't know what it was. So they're competing for Felix Felicis, which is liquid luck. We also learned what amortentia is.
Can't they just make liquid luck?
Yeah, but it takes like a couple months.
Oh, it takes me like 5 minutes in game.
So then we get the Quidditch tryouts scene where Cormac is smarmy and is like very Karate Kid, where he catches the fly in midair.
Yeah. And
this scene's really fun. I really like this backing score. It's really, really like cheery and fun. And we get Lavender being a stage 5 clinger.
You're not wrong.
And Hermione casts Confundus, which I'm like, and you were on to Harry for cheating? And then she tries to justify it later by being like, this was tryouts. So then when we get back to the common room, the Gryffindors are partying, and Ron and Lavender make out.
Gross.
In the middle of everything. In the book, there's a lot more scenes of them making out, which I, like, really didn't need to see.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it being, like, this one shot.
No, we see it more than just this one.
I do like this,
in the
like,
common room. We see it in the staircase. We see it everywhere.
It's only 2.
But still more than one.
I do like
this.
This
is the only.
I do like this camera pan to, like, it, like, zooms out of the window, and then it pans up to Ron and Lavender making out, and then it pans up to Draco. I think that camera work is really fun. Hermione gets emotional, and she goes into an empty classroom and starts crying, and this is where we get the Apugno scene.
Honestly, I think Harry and Hermione would be better together than Hermione and Ron.
Oh, that hurts my soul.
Hermione and Ron do not like each other for 99.9% of the movies.
It's because of how they're characterized in the book. That the only reason why people ship Harry and Hermione is because of the way that they're characterized in the movie. In the book, Harry is almost annoyed by her.
Or even Harry and Luna would have been better than Harry and Ginny.
I do kind of ship Harry and Luna together a little bit, but I do think that I don't think that they would last, to be honest with you.
I think they would. I mean, they would last a lot longer than.
But book Ginny is such a different character.
But like, movie Hermione and movie Harry would do well together, because she would put Harry in his place when he would start to, like, act crazy. She would, like, snap him back to reality. And Ginny's not. Ginny would go along with it.
I just don't see it knowing the characters in the book so well. But Hermione is, like, has all these, like, birds that she's conjured and, like, launches them at Ron. And in the book, he literally has, like, scars from it later.
Well, that's what he deserves. You should not have cheated on Hermione.
Oh, I forgot. There's, a scene right before this where they go to the Three Broomsticks and see Dean and Ginny making out, and Ron gets, like, pissy. And I'm like, your sister's 15. Like, she's gonna do what she's gonna do.
Yeah.
And this is when we get Slughorn inviting Harry and Hermione to the Flug Club, and calls Ron Wallenby. And which is funny.
Ginny was invited.
She was. That's why it's weird, because I'm like, he knows they're siblings, right?
No, but Ginny's also good at stuff, and Ron isn't.
Well, in the book, he sees Ginny. I think Neville is getting, like, picked on or something, and Ginny, like, curses the bully. And she's, like...
But Ginny's good at charms.
She's known for this hex called the Bat Bogey Hex, where it turns boogers into bats. And, like, the bats, like, fly out of people's noses.
What the hell?
And Slughorn witnesses this and thinks it's a really good piece of magic.
Yeah.
And so invites her to the party. And we get this, like, scene where they're walking out of the bar where people think that Hermione is drunk. Which is really weird. A lot of people think she's acting drunk in this scene.
Okay.
And then this is where we get Katie Bell getting attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, getting cursed.
And Voldemort far, far away.
Well, the necklace was already cursed.
Oh, was she... Oh, okay.
Because she touched the necklace. The necklace...
What necklace?
There was a necklace in Borgin and Burke's. And it was... There was a sign on it that said, like, killed 3 muggles.
Don't touch.
Don't touch. And
she being the dumb teenager, like, I'm going to touch this.
No.
Oh.
So she got, like, Imperious, I imagine. And Draco basically Imperious her to take it to Dumbledore. And so she touches it and she gets cursed. And we meet up with the trio and McGonagall and Snape. And this is where we get the, why is it when something happens, it's always you 3?
Yeah. And
Ron goes, believe me, Professor, I've been asking myself that for 6 years.
Yeah. Don't be friends with Harry! Say, bye, dude. I'm done with you.
Yeah, you got my brother killed, man.
Yeah, like, I'm done with you. But, like...
My sister was possessed. My brother gets killed.
Cedric died. I'm usually maimed at the end of the year. I'm usually in the hospital. Next to you. And you make us lose points all the time. I'm done with you.
You made me lose my pet.
Yeah.
The creepy old man that was disguised as a rat, which I don't know why anyone would have a rat as a pet. They're disgusting.
So, if Sirius never broke out...
Pettigrew would probably live with the Weasleys forever if he could.
And then Voldemort would not have come to life.
I have such a bone to pick with Sirius as a character.
So,
he's so brash.
So, essentially, if they never went to Egypt...
If he never...
Sirius would not have seen...
If the Daily Prophet had never run that story.
Yeah, if the Daily Prophet never ran that story...
Or never had, like, the lottery or whatever.
Yes. Sirius would still be in Azkaban. Buckbeak would be dead.
Probably.
Buckbeak would be dead. There's no ifs, ands, or buts to that one.
Because presumably Malfoy still would have been terrible and still would have...
Yes.
Tried to attack.
So, Voldemort would not... So, the Daily Prophet is the reason why Voldemort came back.
Is this the 9/11 inspired 50 Shades of Grey, My Chemical Romance?
Okay, you already have it completely wrong.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
It went 9/11, My Chemical Romance. He is... Gerard Way's dad died during 9/11. And so he wrote several songs, like The Black Parade, the first album, about his dad.
Matthew's emo.
I was emo a long time ago. And then Twilight came out. And then 50 Shades of Grey was a fan fiction of Twilight, which Twilight was inspired by Gerard Way and My Chemical Romance. So, because of 9/11, we have 50 Shades of Grey.
I thought there was another layer to that, too.
No. There might be.
If you're not fully aware of that chain of events, it's a fascinating rabbit hole.
Like, just look it up.
It's a weird butterfly effect.
Like, yes. But I love butterfly effects games. Like, anyway.
Isn't that a movie?
Yes, with Ashton Kutcher.
I thought it was either Ashton Kutcher or Jim Carrey. I don't know why.
It's Ashton Kutcher. Where if you step on a butterfly's wings, it can cause a tsunami.
I love that. I saw a story on TikTok where this guy was talking about how he, he was late for work and he ran a red light. And when he got to work, somebody at work was like, "Oh, did you see that car wreck? It was really nasty." And apparently if he didn't run the red light, he would have been in the car wreck, and it was like a huge fiery explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And it was purely because his alarm didn't go off that morning.
Yep. Any little thing can change your entire life. But let's get back to the Slug Club.
So...
I don't remember how we got to the butterfly effect.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Hope you enjoyed that tangent.
Welcome to our show. If you want a on-topic discussion, maybe listen to a different recap podcast. So they're eating dinner, and Cormac is creepy, and Ginny comes in and she's crying, and they're basically talking about like their lineage, and Slughorn's asking Marcus Belby about like, I think Marcus Belby's grandfather invented some famous... Oh, he invented Wolfsbane.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. the guy who plays Marcus Belby. He was stabbed to death, like, a year after this movie came out.
Oh, did not know that.
I cannot think of his name off the top of my head right now. So then Slughorn asks Hermione about her parents.
Mm-hmm.
So her parents are dentists.
So, I think her parents are squibs. Because, A, they can go into Diagon Alley, and usually Muggles don't see Diagon Alley.
Maybe there's like a long line of squibs.
Yeah. Because her ancestor is, what's his name?
She is related to like a distant Granger. Because Slughorn asks her about, are you related to so-and-so?
It's, in Book 6, when Slughorn asked Hermione if she's related to Hector Dagworth Granger, she told him she doesn't think so because she's Muggle-born. People believe that she is related to him. A squib is a person that is born from magical parents that has no magical powers or abilities, but can see everything wizards and witches can. Like, Hermione's parents can go into Diagon Alley. So, she's probably just from a long line of squibs.
Well, squib is a non-magic person born into a magic family, so...
It could have just been a long line where they essentially forgot that they had wizard powers. Because after so long, you're like, generations tend to forget things.
Or, I mean, I know I think it was Arthur who said, or maybe it was Hagrid, said something along the lines of, like, people married, half-bloods and muggles and things like that, and the line kind of got, like, watered down, essentially.
Which I'm guessing that's how squibs were starting to be made. Wizards were marrying muggles.
I think it's Hagrid, actually, who says it. And so it could be one of those. I mean, it's a similar thing in genetics where, if one parent has blue eyes, one parent has brown eyes, I mean, if
You have
anybody's...
several generations of brown eyes.
If anyone's done a Punnett square in biology... I'm sorry if this is, like, wildly out of order. I'm doing this from memory.
And then, the Slug Club, you see, vampires and, other magical creatures that never get talked about again. I know it's...
we get, there's a scene between Harry and Hermione in the library, and they're talking about who to go to Slughorn's Christmas party with.
Yeah.
And then we see Romilda Vane, and she's trying to smuggle Harry a love potion. And I think this scene between Harry and Hermione is really sweet. And, their banter is really good.
Yeah.
They use the crap out of the scene in the trailers, though.
Yeah.
But
they always use the crap out of, the fun scenes.
This really felt like a rom-com, this scene, though. Harry's like, I'll ask someone I like. Someone cool.
You don't know anyone cool.
And it's Luna.
Luna's cool.
And she's dressed like a Christmas tree.
Of course she is.
And I love her.
Of course she is.
And I love this little line where she goes, I haven't been to this part of the castle, at least not while awake. That's why I wear shoes to bed. I sleepwalk, you see.
Luna is a freak. You know how... So, completely off topic. But...
shocking!
This
whole podcast is on topic.
The sleep tight thing is from, a long, long time ago. Because people would sleepwalk, and so they would get tied to bed.
Oh, I knew that.
Just tie Luna to bed!
So, they go to Slughorn's Christmas party, and Neville's the waiter.
Of course he is. Because Neville is useless.
And, Cormac vomits on Snape's shoes.
Of course.
And, why are you acting like you've never seen this?
Because McCormick has all nice and cool, and then he throws up on his teacher's shoes. Like a nerd.
And then Draco tries to gate crash. And Snape drags him outside and is
party crash?
basically having... He says gate crashing. And Snape has a word with him and is basically like, I'm trying to protect you. And Draco's like, I don't need protection.
You're going to cry while you try to kill Dumbledore.
We also have gotten a flashback scene to when Dumbledore first met Voldemort. And fun fact, this kid, Hero Fiennes Tiffin, is the nephew of Ray Fiennes.
Yes.
And they are perfect casting.
Yes. So, besides vampires, was there any other magical creatures at this party, like elves or anything?
There was a vampire and...
I thought I remember an elf. Or do elves not exist in this magical world?
Other than house elves.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think that would have been cool for, the vampires, side of Voldemort. I think would have been, an interesting little touch.
I don't know.
Because you see them, and you read about them in the books, in, some scenes.
It's mostly,
you learn about them.
It's mostly, a random throwaway of, something that Harry's reading in a textbook or something.
Yeah. But then they don't ever talk about it again. It's like, oh, here's vampires in Harry Potter, but, we'll just close the book on that and never speak of it again.
So, this flashback scene where Dumbledore goes to meet little Tom Riddle.
Yeah.
And he's in an orphanage.
Yeah.
And this is where we get, the horcrux is, telegraphed. There's, 7 stones sitting on the windowsill. You see, a photograph of, the cave. Because the orphanage would take the kids there in the summer.
Weird place to take orphans. So...
And apparently, Tom was, a tyrant. He would, torture the kids' animals, and he would, bully the other children. And he was just a menace.
I mean, in all honesty, I think he should have Dumbledore should have sent him to, like, somewhere else.
Sorry. Telling Voldemort that he was a wizard was a huge mistake.
No, not even that. I'm saying, like, you know how, like, every school district has the one school that's, like, for the bad kids?
The alternative school?
Yeah. Why not just send Voldemort there? To the alternative school? Or would that be Durmstrang?
I don't think that was a thing.
Or do you think that would just be Durmstrang?
I don't think he wanted him to be trained by Grindelwald.
Grindelwald wasn't at power anymore at that time. Grindelwald was defeated because...
He was defeated in 45.
So he was defeated right before this.
Yeah.
So if he was... he would not have been trained by Grindelwald.
I'm not sure. Or trained by the people at Durmstrang. People who trained Grindelwald.
But he would not know what a horcrux was because he would not have found the book that was at Hogwarts.
Maybe there was another copy.
I don't know.
Because Durmstrang, like, taught other dark magic.
True.
And stuff.
Or send him to, like, Bobaton, where he would be nice.
I think it was, like, he's just kind of born evil. And the theory is that...
But, no, you just said there's nature or nurture, and it showed us nurture.
Well, no, I'm saying the way that Voldemort is written is because he was formed from a love potion. There's another...
I was reading something about that, actually.
There's another flashback where you meet Merope, Tom's mom, and she essentially roofies Tom Riddle Sr.
There was actually
it's not even really a fan theory at this point.
No, there was something I read that...
It's because he was formed under a love potion, therefore could not feel love.
No, where,
And empathy. Sorry if we're, like, kind of glazing over some bits. Like I said, I'm doing this completely from memory. And I have, like, a synopsis in front of me, but the synopsis is not very thorough. So if it seems like I'm hopping around a lot, I apologize.
No, I was reading in here where people believe that it wasn't a love potion. Where she, like, imperioed him. To fall in love with her.
It was explicitly a love potion, I'm pretty sure.
No, there's another fan theory that...
Because I'm pretty sure Tom Riddle Sr. was, like, at the very least dating, if not engaged to another girl. And he, like, one day just, like, up and left her. Dumbledore has this line that, again, was in all the trailers where he's like, did I know that I had just met the greatest dark wizard that have ever lived?
Yeah.
So then we go to the Burrow for Christmas. And this scene is the one scene in probably the entire series that I hate the most. Not the whole thing. I don't mind the lead up. There's some, like, really interesting interactions between him and Lupin, and then Ginny awkwardly tries to tie his shoe for some reason.
Yeah.
And tries to feed him mince pies, which is bizarre. Weird character choices. And then, for some reason, the Death Eaters just decide to burn down the Burrow.
Yeah.
Which...
I think trying to kill Harry.
I don't know why they did it, because it is literally never mentioned again. This is so off topic, but that made me think of this. So, all of this time, I thought the Black Lake was named because it was dark. I learned because of Hogwarts Legacy that it was the Black Lake because of the Black family.
Yes.
I never knew that.
I told you that. I read it, and I told you that.
I learned that because of Hogwarts Legacy, because there was, like, a page about it.
Yeah, and there's a quest with it.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why I never questioned it. I always thought it was black in reference to the color. Yeah, but we get a lot more Voldemort backstory, which is, like, this and the Burrow burning scene are, like, the two things that like I said, I love this movie if you ignore the book completely. If you pretend the book never existed, it is a fine movie. But unfortunately, the book does exist. So, it's a good movie, bad adaptation. This movie is a lot of people's least favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's a very poor adaptation. I don't even know what they were thinking with this burning down the burrow scene, because literally it never gets mentioned again. In the next movie, the burrow is completely rebuilt. It's fine. To be fair, they have magic. Like, it doesn't get mentioned at all throughout the rest of this movie. Like, there's not even a Daily Prophet article on it. It's nothing. They just did it for no freaking reason. And then they decided to cut the Voldemort backstory scene and put in this scene that has no bearing on the rest of the story.
Yeah.
And I think Voldemort's story suffered greatly because we don't have all these little nuggets of information. Because in the book, we get, the backstory of Merope and the Gaunts.
Yeah.
We get, the Hepzibah Smith storyline. We get more fleshed out about Slughorn and the Horcruxes. And they only kept in the first meeting and the Horcruxes part. And it's just baffling to me why they chose to cut this. And I can't even say that, it's a fun scene to watch, because it's not. It doesn't make any sense why this happened. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just really frustrating. Dumbledore instructs Harry to try to get this Slughorn memory.
Yes.
Of,
what truly happened.
Of Slughorn basically telling him about Horcruxes.
Yeah.
Because all the while, Dumbledore has had this hunch that Voldemort made at least one Horcrux. More than likely more. But this memory is what he needed to confirm this.
Yeah.
Because Dumbledore wasn't sure. But he had that... So he has that memory, the first meeting, and he has I don't know if the stones on the windowsill were in the book. I can't remember.
I think so.
But what is in the book is that Voldemort or Tom Riddle, I should say, has a box in his wardrobe full of trinkets that he's stolen from other kids.
Yeah.
And so he's clearly after mementos.
Yeah.
And so Dumbledore has this hunch that he made Horcruxes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until he had this altered memory about splitting souls and all that kind of stuff. But he didn't know. It wasn't until he needed that unaltered memory in order to confirm that it was Horcruxes and not just theoretical.
Yeah.
So he needs Harry to basically just charm and schmooze Slughorn. And so Harry, throughout the movie, is trying to he'll stop him after class and things like that. And there is a very striking personality similarity from Tom Riddle and Harry.
Yes.
Harry even uses the same words as Voldemort when they have the conversation about the Horcruxes.
And then he also takes the luck potion, and
that's not until later.
Yeah, that's a weird scene.
I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. But there's a scene where Harry is he basically pisses off Slughorn, and Slughorn's like, like, get out of here, I don't want to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes back to the common room, and Ron is high on love potion. And it's because Romilda Vane gave Harry chocolates for Valentine's Day. It is now March, because it's Ron's birthday.
Oh, God. And
so the love potion is reportedly, like, getting stronger as time goes on.
Because Harry never ate it.
Yeah, he never ate it because, like, it was widely known that she was trying to smuggle him a love potion.
Yeah.
And so he didn't trust it. And so he has to, like, take him to Slughorn's office to, like, get a cure for him.
Yeah.
And he gives him, like, the tonic to, like, the antidote, I guess.
Yeah.
And I love Rupert Grint acting like he's, like on love potion. It's so funny. Then the tonic is supposed to be, like, it, like, depresses you, basically.
Yeah.
And so then he gives him mead to perk him up, apparently. Yeah. And then the mead is poisoned. So Harry has to use a Bezoar, which, do you know where a Bezoar comes from? It's one of Snape's 3 questions that he asks in the very first potion lesson.
No, a Bezoar. I literally just read something about that in the Harry Potter wiki.
A Bezoar is like a little stone.
Oh, I don't know. Well, whatever.
Do you know where how a basilisk is bred?
Yes, it's a snake egg bred under a chicken.
Chicken egg bred under a toad.
I thought it was... Okay. Yeah.
Ron is in the hospital wing, and Lavender runs in, and Ron says Hermione's name in his sleep, and effectively breaks up with her. I really like this actress who plays Lavender. Her name is Jessie Cave. Yeah. She's really funny.
Yes, she is. We watched... What was that show?
8 out of 10 Cats.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 Cats. It's a British show.
She basically... It's her, like, shtick to be, like, the psycho girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, she's not actually, like... I mean, I don't know her personally, but, like, it's an act.
Set aside from the self-defense mechanisms of the soul fragment, a horcrux is usually enchanted by the creator to have other forms of defense to prevent destruction. The ring contained a deadly curse that would kill anyone who touched it. At least Salazar Slytherin's locket was unbreakable even by house elf magic. Tom Marvel's Riddle's diary was completely waterproof and impervious to spilled ink. So when you make a horcrux, you can also choose a secondary protection.
Then this is the scene where Harry takes the Felix Felicis. And I love Daniel Radcliffe on Felix Felicis.
It's like, the dude is like, what happens?
Honestly, if you've ever watched a Daniel Radcliffe interview, he's just, like, straight up net acting in this scene. This is just how Daniel Radcliffe is.
Yeah.
He's so funny. I especially love the, Harry, sir.
Just the, hey, let's go see Hagrid.
He's a really dear friend, and I would like to pay him his visit.
And Slughorn's like, okay.
Well, by all means, come along.
And Hagrid is all sad because...
They go to Aragog's funeral.
And Slughorn's like, I need to get some of his venom. And Harry's like, go ahead, take it. And Hagrid's like, what?
The eyes, they have nerve, some folk. And the pincers
are terrifying.
It's like, I love that gif of him so much.
And they're both just looking at him like, what the hell?
That's, like, literally one of my favorite Harry Potter moments of all time, is this scene.
I just like his impression of the face.
And they go to Hagrid's hut, and they enjoy some alcohol, and basically Hagrid falls asleep because he's drunk. Mm-hmm. And he basically had to get Slughorn drunk in order to divulge...
How much alcohol does Hagrid need to drink? He's half giant.
Slughorn tells this whole story about how one day a student gave him a bowl with a wee fish. And the fish one day... the there was a bowl with a flower petal.
Yeah.
And the flower petal came from a lily. And the flower petal sunk to the bottom of the bowl and turned into a fish. And then Slughorn comes downstairs and sees the bowl empty one day. And it was the day of Lily's death.
Yeah.
And it's just this beautiful story.
Yeah.
And Harry's like, be brave like my mother.
Yeah.
And Slughorn gives him the memory.
Yeah.
So him and Dumbledore watch it together. And this is when we first hear the word horcrux. And this is when we learn that the diary was a horcrux.
Yeah.
We learn that the ring. Mm-hmm. And then in the book, we know already that the cup and that we're looking for a locket. And Dumbledore says he already knows where the locket is.
Yeah. Or where he thought he knew.
Yeah.
So, did Voldemort know that Regulus put a fake one there?
Probably not.
So, Regulus hid or kept the real one. What a sneak.
Well, because Regulus was a Death Eater and then chickened out.
What?
Or not even chickened out, but like he saw the error of his ways, I should say.
Yeah.
Because what I really think it was because when Voldemort had to put the real locket there, he took Creature, and Creature had to take the potion. So I think that was like the straw that broke the camel's back for Regulus.
Oh, so here is the exact order of them. So the book was first.
We knew that. And the death was Myrtle.
Yes. Then the ring.
Who was the death?
Tom Riddle Sr. with the Morphin Gaunt's wand.
Uh-huh.
In 1943. The book was made in June of 43. The ring was created a month later. Then the locket, a Muggle tramp.
Like a Muggle homeless person.
Yes. After 1946, but before 1979, we don't have an actual, confirmed date on that one. The cup was next.
Hepzibah Smith?
Yes.
And then the diadem was,
Yep.
was it like an Albanian peasant?
Yep.
And then it was Nagini, which is Bertha Jorkins.
Yep.
And then Harry was James and Lily.
Yeah, which Harry's called a pseudo-horcrux.
Yeah.
Because he was not created
Wasn't intentionally.
Well, he was not fit for the definition of horcrux. He was not created intentionally using the horcrux-making spell for a purpose of obtaining immortality. Harry Potter essentially became a horcrux after Voldemort's curse rebounded on him. A piece of his mangled soul split off and latched into Harry.
So, then Harry starts becoming suspicious of Draco. And this is when we get the Sectum Sempra scene. And Harry and Draco have a duel in the bathroom. And
Because Harry
sees...
We completely skipped how Harry got the book.
No, I mentioned it.
No.
Yes, I did.
I don't remember talking about it.
He just finds it in the cabinet.
Because he didn't have that year's book.
Because he wasn't going to take...
Defense of Dark Arts.
I love that.
No, was it potions? No, it was Defense of Dark Arts.
No, it was potions.
Yeah, he wasn't going to take potions that year.
Because he didn't get... Because Snape accepts a higher level of OWL in his 6th year classes.
Yeah.
And Harry didn't meet that expectation. But Slughorn requires a lesser grade.
Yeah.
So, Harry sees in the book, he sees Sectum Sempra for enemies. So I'm like, Harry, why are you just using a spell that you have no idea what it does?
Does Harry know what he's doing half the time anyway?
And in the book, it's described as, sword slashes.
Yeah.
As if an invisible sword, I think.
I mean, that's what happened to Draco.
Yeah.
But then Snape comes in and heals him and says, I'm the half-blood.
No, he doesn't say that until later.
He's like, I'm the half-blood.
This is where we get the painfully awkward Ginny Harry kiss scene. And
no one ever really asked for.
What bugs me is in the book, Ginny is so vivacious and, like, funny and snarky and, like, she has so much personality. And in the movie, she's like, I'm just gonna kiss you and then disappear.
Yeah.
And she's so weird in this scene. It's like, we need to hide it.
Yeah.
Where you'll never find it. In the book, the cave is like, he basically, they take the orphans there to, like, in the summertime, and
that's such a weird place to take orphans.
And Tom Riddle takes 2 younger children into the cave, and they come out and they're, like, traumatized by what they've seen.
So who did Voldemort have to put all the Inferi in the water? Because that's a lot of dead bodies.
I hate the Inferi. It creeps me out so much.
Or... Ooh.
It kind of gives me River Styx vibes.
Ooh. Whenever Voldemort killed someone, he transported their body to the cave.
That's not a bad theory. That's probably honestly what happened. But doesn't it give you, like, big River Styx vibe?
It wasn't the River Styx. Oh, like, Hercules jumped in, but okay. The River Styx doesn't have souls in it. The River Styx is what Caroline...
No, like the Disney movie.
No,
like...
I know, but that wasn't the River Styx. That's not the real River Styx. The River Styx is what Caroline transports souls on to the Elysium Fields.
They are so hard to beat in Hogwarts Legacy.
No, they are not. You just need fire spells. Just use Confringo.
There's so many of them.
Just use Confringo. And when you level up the dark spells, it bounces off of each other. It's just stupid. You can't use the curses on them.
They have to drink the liquid, and
why didn't Dumbledore have Harry do it?
It's widely assumed that Dumbledore has to... He basically relives all of his worst memories, which is his sister being killed. So he's, like, pleading.
Here's an idea. Have Harry do it. Harry doesn't have that many bad memories.
He has horrible memories.
I mean, not as bad as Voldemort, not as bad as Dumbledore. Dumbledore has 150 years of bad memories. Harry only has, like, 15 years of bad memories. 16 years of bad memories.
But, like...
Tell me I'm wrong.
Dumbledore says that Harry's a lot more valuable.
But, I mean, in all honesty...
So, Dumbledore in his weakened state basically becomes Moses. And, like, sets the whole cave on fire.
But the Inferi that are underwater would not be affected by the fire.
I don't get it. And they go back to the astronomy tower.
Editing Sarah here. So, I completely glossed over the battle sequence, including there is a deleted scene, which if you haven't seen, I would highly recommend, or watching like the extended editions that have the deleted scenes like still in the movie, because I think this scene should not have been cut. I believe it's titled In Noctem, at least the soundtrack title is called In Noctem, but it's so beautiful, and it's such a good Snape setup, and I really think that scene should have been included in the final cut of the film. But also, I completely glazed over the battle sequence in the movie, or in the book, I mean, that wasn't in the movie, which, in my opinion, was one of the biggest mistakes that this movie made, in addition to the burrow burning down. In the book, the Death Eaters kind of wreak havoc. It's almost like the first Battle of Hogwarts. Some of the Order of the Phoenix comes to Hogwarts to help, and Bill Weasley gets attacked and by Fenrir Greyback, and he is like deformed, like has a scratch down his face, and there's some like really interesting character development between Bill and his mom, as well as Fleur and Mrs. Weasley, and I really like that at the end. But they completely gloss over and completely cut out this battle sequence, which is a shame because it's such a great, fantastic end to this book. That is just a shame that they cut out. I would have loved to have seen this on screen. I think somebody in production had said, like, they just didn't want 2 battles in films essentially back to back, because at this point Deathly Hallows wasn't announced to be split yet. And they just didn't want 2 battles back to back, essentially. So it's a shame that we didn't get really much of a climax in this movie. It really just is Dumbledore's death and then nothing. So I guess they were going for more of a somber end than a more bombastic. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting, and I thought I would be remiss to not mention it.
And Dumbledore instructs Harry to go get Snape. And unbeknownst to him, Draco has let all of the Death Eaters into the castle.
Or only 3.
It's Fenrir, Bellatrix, and there's a couple other people in the book, but
There's like 4 or 5 in total.
And they go up there and Snape kills Dumbledore. Do you remember when Half-Blood Prince was released, the book?
Yes.
And outside of Borders, and people would drive by and, like, scream, Snape kills Dumbledore?
Yeah.
I remember when Deathly Hallows was released, and people would do the similar thing, but, like, just list off names of characters that died.
Mm-hmm.
And they would just, like, have a megaphone and be like, Mad-Eye Moody, Dobby, Fred, Lupin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's wrong with you people?
It was just gonna watch Warburn. No, I remember on Vine, because Vine was getting big when, like, all of this came out. And, like, people were doing, like, the spoilers for it. But, like, there was one made by Rooster Teeth a long time ago where it was a spoil on a spoiler. You know what I mean?
No.
Like a spoiler on the back of a car.
Oh.
And where they wrote, like, Snape kills Dumbledore on it.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
Where it was a spoil on a spoiler.
It's a spoiler?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny, actually.
And, like, people were doing stuff like that with it for a while. I think they were doing it when the movie came out.
I hate this thing where the Death Eaters run down the hill after killing Dumbledore, and Bellatrix sets Hagrid's hut on fire.
Didn't they have, like, one take to do it?
Yeah, they did. She talks about that in, I think, the reunion.
In most interviews, she gets asked about it, and
in the book, it's like Harry hears Fang inside, and, like, Hagrid, like, runs in to go grab Fang.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I think that would have crushed me if Fang died.
Yeah.
I
mean, it just would have been another magical creature that Hagrid let die.
He's not a magical creature, he's just a dog.
Or a dog. I don't know. They never said if he was a magical creature or not.
Like, I wonder if there's a dog version of,
a measle.
Like, a Kneasel.
Yeah. I just said measle.
It's not a disease. It's K-N-E.
I know, I misspoke.
This is when we learn that Snape is the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah. He's like, I'm the Half-Blood.
I do love this really touching, like, wands up for Dumbledore thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, when people have died in the fandom and stuff, like, people do, like, wands up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the movie, we miss out on Dumbledore's funeral, which it, like, brings together, like, a bunch of different people. It's almost like a curtain call for a lot of characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the centaurs come, and the mer people come, and, like...
just everyone.
Like, the mer people, like, stick their heads out of the water.
Because they can't go on land. They die.
And, like, it's a really good scene in the movie, or in the book, I mean.
Yeah.
So I really love this line where Harry goes back to Dumbledore's office after Dumbledore's funeral, and McGonagall is like, you meant a great deal to him. And there's this really beautiful shot of the window behind the staff table of, like, the sun shining in and the empty tables.
Yeah.
I love that shot. It's so pretty. It would be, like, a beautiful, like, phone background. And then we get the scene on top of the astronomy tower with the trio.
Yeah.
And we learn...
We're not coming back next year. We're going to find all the horcruxes.
And we learn about R.A.B.
Yeah.
And
then you go off in the sunset with the Hogwarts, with the Harry Potter theme.
No, it's Fox's Lament.
The Fox's Lament.
See, Fox is, like, crying, basically.
Yeah. And then credits.
So that's the wrap on our Half-Blood Prince episode.
Mm-hmm.
What are your final thoughts?
I mean, Half-Blood Prince was never really my favorite movie. But yeah, I mean,
I love all the Voldemort backstory, though.
yes, I do like that. How we actually learn more about Voldemort and how he's just not another mad villain. I mean, he is a mad villain.
I just wish we got it in the movie.
I know. But, I mean,
because I just think, like, the Gaunt story is really interesting.
Oh, apparently, Voldemort's mom might have been a squib. Because she had very...
I think she was more of, like, an Obscurious.
No. She had, because, so, I was actually just reading this. Her dad verbally and emotionally abused her so much, she pretty much lost her magical abilities.
I think she was more of a Obscurious then.
No,
she's similar to, like, Ariana, because when Ariana got attacked, she, like, stopped, like, she, like, was a recluse.
She wasn't a recluse, she just...
Or, like, her mom kept her inside.
No, she just couldn't perform magic.
Yeah.
Like, her magic was
She was little, though.
Like, her magic was so weak. Voldemort's mom's magic was so weak to the point where, like, the only way she could find someone was to do a love potion. Because she was
But she, like, suppressed her magic when she knew Tom Riddle.
Yeah.
Senior.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she was more... I don't think she was a full-blown Obscurious, but...
I don't think she was Obscurious because there wasn't a thing yet.
Oh my god. So yeah, that's a wrap on our Half-Blood Prince episode. Next week we will be doing, obviously, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Yes.
And we will have a special guest on that episode, so stay tuned for that.
Yes.
We will talk to y'all then.
Bye.
If you would like to support this podcast, please consider checking out our merch store at thefanclubpodcast.myspreadshirt.com. You can get exclusive designs designed by us on t-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and many other items. We will have limited edition designs in the very near future. Be sure to follow us on all of our social medias for updates on what we're working on in real time. We're part of the Needlessly Nerdy Entertainment Network. They're a conglomerate of podcasts and blogs that provide entertainment, news, and reviews about all things nerdy, including movies, TV, books, video games, tabletop games, cons, pop culture, and more. Go check out all of the amazing shows on the network at needlesslynerdy.com.
Needlessly Nerdy, your source for all things nerdy.
www.needlesslynerdy.com.